Okay, so it all starts with this rich guy who makes bombs. And one day he gets kidnapped, so he builds a suit of armor. And everybody wants it because it's basically a flying tank you can wear, which is badass. But he's like, no, you can't have it. I'm gonna be a superhero. And this eye patch spy man comes along. He's like, fuck yeah, we're gonna form a whole team of superheroes. And there's a science nerd who turns into a green monster when he gets angry, and a soldier with an invincible frisbee, and a space Viking with a sweet hammer, and a spy lady who helps the rich guy and his best friend kill a Russian. So the space Vikings had a magic space cube and they ditched it in Norway. Then during World War II, this Nazi finds it and he's like, yeah, I'm going to make lasers and shit and take over the world. And the soldier guy is way too skinny, but the government gives him some drugs. So he gets all swole. And then he punches the Nazi in the face until he drops the cube and he falls in the ocean and wakes up in the future. And then the Space Viking's dad kicks him out for being a moron, so he goes to Earth for a while and finds a girlfriend. And then his brother turns out to be evil and he gets kicked out instead. And then the eye patch guy goes, holy shit, there are Space Vikings? We better take this cube out of the attic and make bombs out of it. But the evil brother pops out with the magic mind control stick and steals the cube, and he's gonna give it to a purple man and take over the world. But the soldier and the rich guy and the spy lady and the nerd and the Viking and some dude with a bow and arrow form hero team. And they beat up the evil brother and send him to Space Viking prison. But then the rich guy gets PTSD and some douchebag tries to steal his girlfriend and blows up his house. Then he finds out the douchebag is building exploding people in his basement and they're gonna kill the president or something. So he teams up with his computer and his girlfriend and his best friend and they save the president and kill the douchebag. Then the Space Viking's girlfriend finds some red stuff, but an elf comes along and wants to throw the red stuff into some sky holes so he can make everything dark or whatever. So the Viking teams up with his evil brother, and they kill the elf and put the red stuff in a jar and give it to some weirdo in a fur coat. But the Space Viking doesn't realize his brother is his dad now. The soldier and the spy lady punch some pirates, but the soldier finds out his best friend who died has a robot arm and kills people now. Then the Nazis try to make a comeback and they're gonna hack everyone's Facebook and shoot them in the head if they don't like fascism. The soldier makes friends with the Birdman and they shoot the Nazis, but the spy man doesn't have a job now. Also, out in space, there's like this man baby who was raised by space pirates, and the pirates are gonna steal a metal ball. But there's a blue guy who's friends with the purple man, and he wants to steal the ball, but the man baby takes it instead. So the purple man sends his green daughter to take the ball back, but they all go to space prison. And they meet a raccoon and a tree and a wrestler, and they all form Space Hero Team. And they decide to sell the ball to the weirdo for a bajillion space dollars. But he shows them the ball has a magic purple rock inside that's going to kill everybody. Then the blue dude takes the ball, and he's going to kill everybody. But Space Hero Team takes it back and kills him with it and gives it to the police. Then the man baby finds out his dad is a planet, and he's evil. So Space Hero Team kills him with some batteries they stole from a gold lady. And Man Baby finds out the space pirate was his dad all along. And the green lady learns to get along with her blue sister who goes off to kill their dad. And the bug lady joins the team. Back on Earth, the hero team finds out the Nazis have the mind control stick, and they used it to make this one guy go really fast and turn his sister into a witch. So they take this stick back, but the witch gives the rich guy a nightmare about aliens killing his friends, so he plugs the magic stick into his computer and tries to make a robot that will protect everybody. But the robot goes crazy and tries to kill everybody instead. He teams up with the witch and her brother, but they decide they don't like him anymore and join the hero team. And the robot tries to have a baby, but the heroes steal the baby and turn it into a British robot who helps them kill the other robot. And the witch's brother dies, and the green monster flies into space. Plus, there's this grumpy old science man with a beard, and a burglar breaks into his house. So he goes to the burglar and says, "Hey, I invented this weird rubber suit that lets me get real tiny and talk to bugs, but this bald guy who hates me is going to make it so everyone can be tiny, and that would be the end of the world. So I need you to become the new tiny man and help me and my daughter, who also hates me, destroy everything he's built." And the burglar is like, "Okay," and they do that. And the burglar gets way too small, but he gets big again. A year later, the witch blows up some people to save some other people from getting blown up. And the governments are all like, "That's enough. Hero team gotta have rules now." The soldier doesn't like it, but then his dead friend gets in trouble for blowing up the King of Africa. And then the new King of Africa shows up in a cat costume and everyone gets arrested. But this dude with a dumb name is mad that the robots killed his family and everything is his fault, and he hypnotizes the dead guy to kill everyone. And then the rich guy makes friends with a teenager in pajamas, and they all have a fight at the airport with the witch and the tiny man and the bow and arrow guy and everyone else. But the dead guy killed the rich guy's parents, so the rich guy and the soldier have a really bad breakup and try to punch each other to death. And then there's this doctor who gets in a car crash, so a bald lady teaches him to do magic, and then a giant floating head wants to eat the world, but the doctor wizard stops him with a magic necklace that controls time. And the teenager goes home and stops a different Birdman from selling lasers to criminals. And the space Viking finds out he has an evil goth sister who wants to conquer the universe with an army of zombies. And she bitch slaps him all the way to another planet where a gay guy makes him fight the green monster. But they team up with a drunk lady to summon Satan and blow up the space Viking planet to stop the evil goth lady. And then Catman becomes King of Africa and has to team up with Bilbo Baggins to stop Smeagol from selling a hammer. I can't call him Smeagol. So the Catman has to fight his cousin because his cousin thinks Black Lives Matter too much. But then he realizes his cousin was right and tells the world his country has flying cars. And Tiny Man is trying to mind his own business, but then he calls the grumpy science man and says, "Hey, I had a dream about your wife." And his daughter gets to be tiny and have wings. And they try to stop a ghost from stealing their suitcase. And the burglar gets really big so he can punch a redneck on a boat and save the wing lady's mom from being way too small. But then the purple man decides he's going to take all the space rocks and put them in a special glove so he can kill everybody. He takes the ball and the cube and the red stuff, and he sends his ugliest kids to Earth in a donut to get the necklace. And Hero Team and Dr. Wizard and Space Hero Team have to team up to fight him while they take the British robot to Africa so the princess can amputate his brain. But the Purple Man throws his daughter off a cliff because a ghost Nazi told him to. And he gets all the rocks and they can't stop him from snapping his fingers, and half the universe dies. But it's okay because they're going to team up with a space lady to punch the Purple Man until he puts everything back.